welcome to the Tottenham Hotspur Supplement episode of what we called Rantz. But can you rant after a 4-0 away win in a team known for being so dominant at home? Chris, are you going to rant about the racism you experienced in Serbia? Terrible football you experienced?
I shall try, even if there wasn't any. Hello, everyone. It's Crisandro here. Yeah, like you said, can you really rant after a performance like that? It's we actually played very well, and that's the thing. And we played so damn well, and all the fears that we had going into that game regarding what the fans were like, what the police would be like, what just ordinary citizens would be like. None of that came to the fore at all. It was my first ever time in the Balkans and in the Balkan regions, first ever time in Serbia, first time in Belgrade. And it was a very good experience. Everyone was friendly, everyone was cool, everyone was calm, everyone's eager to help if we're in trouble, or eager to give you tips on where to go around. I enjoyed my time there. And the stadium itself, I know that they did have a ban on the fans because of racism, because that's why their fans weren't allowed or weren't supposed to be allowed at the Tottenham
Hotspur. Yes, they were allowed. 140 people allowed themselves to sell tickets to these guys, so they were allowed. You go with permission, you sell it.
Yeah, okay, maybe not.
Property. It's my bloody ticket. I'll do with it what I want.
All right, then let me rephrase it. Not legally allowed to get tickets.
It's my bloody ticket. Oh, fair blood.
I suppose those 200 or so fans now have lost their season tickets and privileges, so I guess they learned a harsh lesson. But yeah, no, it was great. And the only thing that was a bit of a downer really was the stadium. Although it looks really grand on TV and everything like that, the seats were just kind of they're just like plastic stuck to a bit of concrete. That's literally what it was.
I don't think they want you to be comfortable in their stadium. I think that's the whole idea. I'm sure they probably put that. I'm sure they did Robbie Savage in the away room toilets. You know what I mean? So
I get a feeling that those seats are kind of like stadium wide, not just for the away fans.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I was looking forward to the intimidating atmosphere. I don't know if you've all seen the video I've done. Go check it out. See what the atmosphere is like. The first 20-25 minutes was like that. It was kind of intense. Whenever our players got the ball, they were whistled and booed. Nothing too untoward.
I couldn't actually hear anything. I must admit, from when I was watching it, maybe because I was really nervous, obviously, because it's hard to pick up the sense of, obviously, I mean, in terms of the intimidating nature of the atmosphere, I couldn't pick it up from the stadium, because I actually felt, for me, it was as if Red Star Belgrade, or the fans were waiting for their team to come alive, and it felt like the team waiting for fans to alive. But from what you say, because you were actually there on not away days, you actually felt that it was a very intimidating atmosphere, and it was
kind of when I say intimidating, it was kind of the whistling and the barracking was loud whenever we had the ball. But other than that, I guess they were pretty quiet. Apart from in the far end where the ultras were, or the flag waving and everything like they just wouldn't shut up, and that was kind of like it added to the atmosphere as well. On the sides was kind of sparsely populated really, but yeah, the atmosphere was good. When we scored the goals, you obviously noticed a dip in the sound, but they still carried on singing when the full-time whistle was sounded, and a good they were kept behind in the stadium for a good 45 minutes to 50 to an hour. They were still on the opposite end, still singing, still banging the drums and everything like that. It was kind of surreal, really, if you think about it. Losing 4-0, yet they were still kind of chanting away.
Maybe they were singing Serbian if we were going to win 5-4 or something. But the thing is, because obviously, talking about ultras, because I actually don't, when I think of ultras, I actually think, and I know this is really wrong to think that, I'm actually thinking like Birmingham City Zulu or something. That's what I'm thinking, like proper hardcore
Yeah.
The thing is, my understanding of ultras is different because the ultras, I mean, it's strange because we don't really have like an ultra kind of thing in this country, do we? Compared to what they have in Italy, what they have in say in France, in say in and obviously in obviously in Serbia. I mean, in terms of ultras, I mean, it was very strange because you think the ultras are going to be they were supporting their players throughout, and obviously you've seen Balotelli. I mean, I don't know if you just recently found. I just found out just this afternoon. Apparently, Balotelli's own ultras were barracking him as well for not taking it as a joke, or apparently he misunderstood, whatever. And they're defending Hellas for it. And what makes it worse is I think that Balotelli is actually from Brescia.
He is,
actually his hometown club.
Yeah.
So it's a strange thing. I mean, for those, I mean, like this is the same Belgrade. Is this the same stadium where it all, or was that in Croatia where it all like basically lit up? I think it was in Croatia, wasn't it? That's where the Yugoslavian war started, wasn't it?
So, say that again. I didn't quite understand that.
I think in terms of like, because obviously they talk about the intimidating nature of the atmosphere, the long tunnel and everything. But I actually, because obviously when you think of Red Star Belgrade, I remember for me the first time I heard of Red Star Belgrade was really when they played Chris Waddle's Marseille in the Champions League, the European Cup final. It was actually the European Cup final. It wasn't the Champions League then.
Yeah, it was the European Cup.
I think the next year it became the Champions League.
1991, so I remember that.
And the next year it became the Champions League. I think a year later, but and it obviously 1991 is when was it 91?
Yeah,
it was 1991.
That final was 91. Yeah.
And obviously it all changed. Everything changed massively because obviously the following year Yugoslavia couldn't be obviously in European 92 championships. I think it actually kicked off in Croatia, not in Serbia, but it's interesting how like that whole thing in history. But it actually kicked off in terms of the incident actually happened because I think there's a player, I think it's a Milan player.
Boban, you mean?
Yeah. Apparently he had to like punch a player or so, punch a soldier, or punch a policeman or something.
He noticed the police were literally attacking only the Croatian fans in that stadium. So he did a Cantona style kick on the policeman and ran away. That's what kind of started the whole nationalist movement in Croatia, and then led to the civil war happening.
And in terms of like you're obviously you're going through Serbia, and obviously I mean Serbia is because obviously I remember years later they were bombed by I think it was NATO. It was some forces that actually bombed them during the war. And I remember you would see like Serbian players. I'm trying to think. It was a Real Madrid player, I think. He was Serbian. Whose name escapes me right now, but he was protesting as NATO, and they have a real sense of identity. I mean, were you able to explore? I mean, you went to Serbia on the Monday. Was it the Monday or the Sunday?
I landed on the Monday, yeah.
And so obviously Wednesday was the game. Were you able to explore much of Serbia while you were there? Did you get a chance to?
Not much.
Belgrade, just have a look through.
Yeah, more Belgrade than the whole of Serbia as well. But I did have a look at little. Was when I go to any European city, I like to have a look at their museums and stuff like that, just to get a whole real interest in their culture. Well, a couple of places, and you do kind of get you get the impression that Serbia. I imagine most of the former Yugoslavia, but Serbia, they're really proud of their history, really proud of their culture, really proud. I mean, there's an emphasis really on Serbian nationality, if you know what I mean, not in a bad way. But they are proud of their country. They're proud of their people, and you get that feeling when you walk through the city. Really, that's why I guess they're very welcoming to all foreign fans and whatnot, because they want the world to see how much they're kind of grown since that conflict 20 years ago, and it's kind of good to see really, and it kind of makes you feel welcome. I mean, all that apprehension that a lot of us had. Going into that game, it was just kind of blown away if you spent like 5-10 minutes in the company of anyone from Belgrade, really, and it kind of worked out quite well. And it just kind of end up enjoying the city. And then when it comes to the football, because I did a really silly thing, I couldn't get a taxi for toffee really, so I ended up walking from my hotel to the stadium through the Red Star lot, and I had my jumper
How
on
far was
on me.
that?
Huh?
How far was that? Was it like a 2 mile?
It was a half an hour walk, so it was around about a mile and a bit. And I didn't. Although I was kind of worried, I had no real need to be really. Maybe it was just a one-off. Who knows? But yeah, I walked through and no issues. I had a few, of course, few looks, but nothing to the extent of they're going to do some harm to me. But
You are a good-looking man, Chris. Let's face it. You are. You
well,
are.
there is
You,
that.
you are. You are an oil painting.
Well, there is that. I can't really blame
Yeah.
them for.
Before we hasten to add, it's an oil painting of Shrek, but you are an oil painting.
Well, thank you for noticing. But it is.
But in terms of like, you walk through, I mean, there wasn't any. I mean, like normally you hear these horror stories. I mean, obviously we heard about like I think was it last year in Barcelona? There was like some real rough treatment by the Spanish police.
Yes.
There was, and so because obviously I think what we do have these like conceptions in our head because I remember before like going to Russia and for the World Cup, a lot of people were very frightened. There was obviously what happened to that guy, I think in Wiltshire, I think it was.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. And obviously there was like, oh God, are we going to go to Russia? But when you actually go there, when you actually meet the people and you meet them away from their government, they're just people. They just have hopes and aspirations and dreams, and they just want to be able to live their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think what happens is you only get to see, how do I put it? You only get to see a little bit of them. So, like, for example, I have only seen Marco Marin, a few times, I think, when he played against us, when he was at, I want to say Werder Bremen. I think he played against us for Werder Bremen.
Yeah.
And he played about 30 seconds at Chelsea. And then that was it. And yeah, so in terms of like, so you'd be thinking of Marco Marin, well, he can't be that great. I mean, I remember seeing him, they called him the German Messi, but he's clearly a very talented player because Chelsea ended up signing him. I never played him, but they did sign him and they thought he had something.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. You don't really get, until you go there and explore and really get an understanding of what it's like, unless you just walk, even a day in their shoes as you go to that land, you don't get to experience. And so you will judge someone based on what you've seen somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to, that's the thing. We tend to be very judgy. I think increasingly so. We're very judgy. I have an idea of Serbians from obviously what happened in the war, especially in Bosnia. But that probably isn't the right reflection on Serbians. I mean, because for most people, like they live their lives. I mean, like apparently, if you go to Hawaii pre-Pearl Harbor, everyone just got along. Everyone just lived together. There was no hassle. I think that's the same thing here. I think people just want to know to live their lives. So I think it was really incredible in terms of you got to experience that. And obviously, I mean, you've been to Munich. You've been to Munich before, I think, because haven't you?
Yeah, that was only a couple 4 years ago.
So who knows? Will you be going to Munich for the last game? Because now, because it's an interesting one. Because essentially, if we beat Olympiacos,
we're both through.
Munich, then we go through, and it becomes a dead rubber game. The game becomes meaningless. We obviously, unless we beat them, I don't know, 7. I don't know. I think unless we beat them 7, 9, 8, 8-0 or something.
Yeah,
it was really obviously like Niko Kovac lost his job. He won the double last season.
Yep.
He got to dream of a club like Tottenham. It's like we barely win anything. You run us up a lot. You get good job. Yeah, because I actually asked. So there's a mate of mine, Emma, and I said to her because apparently I think Jose Mourinho's been linked heavily with the job. He speaks German. I said, wait a minute, Emma, you speak German? Do you want the job? And she was like, I don't think she found it kind of amusing, but I don't know. It's interesting to see. I mean, like in terms of like you saw the ultras, and like you've been to like the Olympiacos. I mean, are the ultras? Were there ultras there at Olympiacos when you went? Did you see ultras there as well?
There were, there were, especially at the again on that particular stadium. I was kind of warned not to walk to the stadium. I had to get a taxi, so I wouldn't have done in Greece what I did in Serbia, as in terms of just walking from my hotel to the stadium. I had to get there because, from what I understand, the Olympiacos fans, the ultras there, they're quite handy with the blade, as it were. So I didn't want to risk that one.
That's the thing. I think of ultras, I think of that. So you think of the violence, but obviously in this case, you saw a different side of the ultras. Their ultra enthusiasm, their ultra pride in their team, their ultra stamina. Because obviously, I would have said we tonked them 4-0. In the second half, you could just kind of tell. I think once the second goal, I think, went in, they just thought, you know what, screw this. We're going to the Europa League. We're not going to win this game. And they put a little bit of shift in, but they just know. And I think they know that I think they're very dominant in their league.
Yeah.
And I think the Champions League allows them, because they qualify for it, the money they get, even if they don't go beyond it, allows them to basically keep their best players away from, say, other clubs within the Serbian league.
Yeah.
Therefore, they're able to keep their players for a bit longer. And therefore, they don't really... I mean, look, basically, them getting the groups... If they qualified the group stage, that is an absolute... That's like winning the lottery for them. That's like winning the Euro Millions. You know?
Yeah, I think they're a long way of matching what they did in 1991, really. That's the honest truth, really.
Yeah, and if you think of that team, you had players like Prozornecki, Savicevic,
Darko Panchev.
Yeah, they had some formidable players, and obviously, I remember Savicevic. I mean, yeah, he was obviously one of the greatest players of his generation. I mean, that was an amazing player. So obviously, this generation isn't as good, clearly, and it's weird because football's very cyclical. Because I remember, like, obviously, you think of Serbian players, you will think of like Milinkovic, Savic, Matic, maybe, but I can't really think of any. And I think now there's a trend now, because obviously you've got, obviously everyone's looking at Norway because of that Haaland kid. I think Haaland's kid, that Odegaard. Is he Norwegian as well, or is he Danish? I don't know. The one, Madrid, the kid. Pardon?
Which player, sorry?
Odegaard. I think he's Danish or Norwegian. I'm not sure.
Odegaard. But it sounds of it, that's a Norwegian name.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, so everything's cyclical. Have you noticed it does seem to be like a fashion? What is this club doing? What that club doing? And like, it was just, I don't know, for me, when I looked at the club, I've been sticking faith in the club, because I thought, well, do you know what? Ultimately, once he gets his players out on the pitch, and once he gets like as strong as he can to what he considers to be his strongest 11, then judge him, and then you can judge how he does things. And in terms of like the performance, I would say, I think we spoke about this earlier, but I think the GLS Celso goal, if someone said, what is the perfect Poch goal? It wouldn't be like tiki-taka, or great individual. I think the perfect Poch goal would be the player that basically causes a turnover is the player that's goal or lays on the assist at the very least. And Celso almost did both, because Harry Kane, he has a slightly better touch. Even though he gets the post, he would have probably got that in. And then he didn't, but he stuck in. I mean, the Celso was incredible. I thought he was man of the match. And obviously, I just want to ask, because you were there, apparently Ericsson was booed when he came on.
I wouldn't say he was booed. It was kind of like
was it booze or booze?
It was kind of like it was a mixed reaction, mostly quiet, some applause, and some
tonic water or Coke? Booze or booze?
Booze. But no, it was very mixed. I wouldn't say it was like a overly negative reaction. Just more ambivalence, I guess.
Because there's a lot of like songs that, I mean, you've seen some of the songs full of Celso.
Oh yes.
The Celso is on fire. Ericsson is terrified. The Celso is on fire.
I'd like to have sung that if I saw that before the game. That would have been great.
It was, but why? I think the thing is, I mean, I was actually watching one of my favourite writers, apart from me, a good self, obviously, is a guy called Seb Stafford-Bloor. He's a Spurs supporter, but he doesn't let his Spurs fandom colour his reporting on the club.
Yeah.
And for me, what it felt like, even when Eriksen scored, you saw him pump his fist, but that joy that was there, wasn't it? He was like, yeah, I'm glad I scored, blah, blah, blah. But the joy, the sheer delight, it just wasn't there, you know? Where it has been in the past. You just see that there's this huge smile on his face. And he's playing like a player. I mean, I have to think of it, it's like the best of Spurs under Pochettino has come from when Dembele and Eriksen were at their best, which is 17. Those two guys were at their very, very, very best. And essentially, since then, we kind of plodded along. And it's as if, I think, Ndombele and Lo Celso have been like a heart transplant. They've given us new life.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that, really. I think I said it that, I'm not quite sure if it was during one of our chats, but I did say that that team for 2017 could have been kind of like broken up slowly at that point. But I know we kind of held on to players beyond their use by date almost. And that's pretty much why we've kind of fallen away since then. And now that's why we're kind of doing like a bit of a job trying to get it all back to some kind of level. And because we've done it so late, it's going to take a little while now to get back to that level, which I think is why you're now seeing the likes of Leicester going past us, even Palace going past us, and Sheffield United scarily going past us. And
but I think it's an odd league, though, because I think what you have is you have a competition for first and second between Liverpool and Man City. And
which would have been two teams if we had broken up the team earlier. As I said, if we brought in a couple of players then, we would have maintained that level. We'd be up there with them, Man City as Liverpool were challenging. So we kind of shot ourselves.
Obviously, it would have been nice if we'd been able to sign the Celso or something. That would have been great the year before. And clearly we were. I think clearly we were looking at. I think Jack Grealish for a period of time. And Jack Grealish, I don't think he's even made the New England squad. And this is a player that, and I'm not being bad. I think Maddison's in there on merits.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of Chelsea play. Ross Barkley's there. He's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why Axel Chamberlain's there. Why would you not give Jack Grealish a chance to see what he can do? I mean, England is clearly qualified for the Europeans. I just think Jack Grealish. I mean, I don't know. You just think he's got.
He's been making a few mistakes though in the league games for Villa, from what I've seen, and I guess he's not completely trusted at the moment.
I do think, but it will be interesting just to see between Maddison and Jack Grealish, which one of those is the biggest turd between the two of them. You know, it really would be. You can imagine them being like something out of Step Brothers or something. You know, just constantly just trying to one up each other.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's the imagery right there, I guess. But it will. Well, I know we were rumored to be interested in Maddison as well in the past, as well as Grealish. It would be awesome to get one or two or both of them, when we were rumored to get them, and that would have helped the rebuild.
I don't think we could have given them the incubation period. I think what people fail to realise is that. So look, everyone's looking at Ndidi saying, "Oh, what a player he is! What a talent!" Ndidi was signed in 2016. He has been at Leicester for 1, 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
He's been allowed to incubate, come in occasionally, a couple of times, but he's given an incubation period of 3 years. Ricardo Pereira has had an incubation period of 2 years. The manager that brought him in, it wasn't the manager that eventually has given him chances. And I think players develop at different times. So we've seen someone like Ndombele who's shown real quality at times, but the stuff he was doing, like the way he almost seems to be always off balance when he's running. He just honestly,
he has an awkward start, doesn't he?
But I think that's what makes it so hard for players to take the ball off him, because he is so awkward. His balance is so strange that the only way to tackle him is to really put one on him, really.
Yeah.
And I think, that's the thing. I read this report. Like this guy, I'll keep his name, quiet. He was like going, "Oh, we got to get rid of Poch. He's this, he's that." I said, like, you've got Klopp, who's got the biggest wage bill, and you've got Pep, basically the owners have basically said money is no object, which
Yeah.
has now proven to be a problem.
Yeah.
Sign all the best managerial talent,
Yeah.
whether that's Pellegrini, whether that's at the boardroom, whether that's in scouting, everything. Wherever you can find best talent, you just recruit. Money is no object. And that club has been built for Pep since, I would say, 2011. So even when he was at Barcelona, they had already built that club for him. They were already building that club for Pep to eventually come and take over. And so when you have that level of time and money with Klopp, obviously, the sheer amount of it, he hasn't spent money this year, but I am sure, given the chance, he would have loved, a bit. I mean, Fabinho's done very well. I'll give him credit, but he knows that he's lacking centre halves. I mean, if Van Dijk goes down, Gomez really isn't that player that can take over.
Yeah, true.
And if you take away Van Dijk and Lovren, they've got. And even then, I mean,
I don't know about Lovren. Maybe Gomez, yeah, but Lovren. If you put Lovren in, I'll be rubbing my hands in glee, waiting to play him.
But what I'm saying is though, because if you look at say the incubation period, I mean, like again, tying it back, when I looked at Van Dijk, I was thinking, wait a minute, Van Dijk. I remember us putting 4 past. What should I call it? What are they called? Oh crap, Southampton. And I remember us getting a pretty good result against Southampton. A few months later. And you wouldn't think, oh my God, Van Dijk is a super defender. But again, I think players develop at different times in the right conditions. They go from being okay players to brilliant players, and vice versa. You could take a very good player in one club, put him in another, and it just doesn't work out because it's not. So many things have to come together, like the perfect storm. You know? And then it's the idea of maintaining that storm. And it's like a hurricane. How do you maintain a hurricane? It doesn't. Hurricanes, like all things, run out of air, run out of hot water, run out of energy. And I think what Poch has done is he's looked at this team and he thought, do you know what? I need to change things. I need to go to collect the lines differently. And I think instead of looking to replace Ericsson with say Lo Celso, he's basically looked to say, how do I replace Ndombele? Not Ndombele, Dembele. And he's literally looked at 2 players and he thought, okay then, Ndombele and Lo Celso can be the 2 guys that can help me beat the press. If I can beat the press, then I can get a numerical advantage. Normally, you can either get a numerical advantage by forcing a turnover, or by beating, or a combination of both.
Yeah.
And he's looked at that, and Lo Celso, he's looked at players that can basically, when they run with the ball, they run with purpose.
Yeah.
Because if you're running with the ball, you've only 2 choices: either whack the player or shepherd him into what I call a blind alley.
Yep.
And I think with Ndombele and Lo Celso, they have a really clear understanding. They are as close to being Poch players as one could hope for. And I thought Ndombele was magnificent on Wednesday. Maybe with Belgrade, apparently this is not the best. Apparently, if they, when they beat Liverpool, they were brilliant. When they lost to us, they were, are they really
exactly.
But ignoring that aside, I just looked at Ndombele. He just ran that in midfield, and obviously people have thought. I think after this tour, it's the international break. I think the week after it's Spurs versus Arsenal ladies. So for me personally, you don't have to really worry about the game afterwards. So for me personally, I would go out with the strongest lineup you can, keep that rhythm. I would maybe change the fullbacks, maybe put in Ben Davis, maybe put in, because I looked at one voice, and obviously you look at what you can see, but for me, he never looked challenged on that right hand side. No one ever looked to really take him on. What do you think?
That would probably be true because we kind of kept them pressed back a little bit. We had most of the ball, didn't we? So I guess when they tried to break on us, they always came through the centre. They never really went out wide. So I guess that kind of helped Foyt a little bit. But he's very commanding down that right hand side. I mean, defensively, when called upon, he did very well, but he was always looking to get forward and to push forward and to provide the width on that right hand side, and he did very well. And but I have no qualms with him playing there against Sheffield United. I think he will.
Apologies, that's someone's ringing my house phone. People don't realise no one's ringing house phones anymore. They ring mobiles, you shit. But no, sorry about that. But I was going to say, but you're saying about one voice. I mean, people remember Trent Alexander-Arnold from, let's say, last year having an incredible season, but he's been playing for Liverpool for quite a while. It's only last year did he really become the player he became. It's like Bale. Bale really, obviously, the player that he became for, like, obviously that went to Real Madrid and everything else, he became a better version of it. But that player that became the player that he was in 2010. Because he was the jinx. You never really thought, oh, Gareth Bale's on, or you have to be a little bit wary. True. And suddenly, all of a sudden, he just gets it. Whatever he needs to do, he just gets it. I'm not saying one fighter gets it. And as a defender, you are judged more for your mistakes than you are what you do going forward. But for me personally, I actually do see his future being on the right-hand side of three centre-backs. I really don't see him as a fullback, for me personally.
Okay, well,
I do see him more like the way I see it. I honestly can see a time when we maybe play, say, three at the back. You'd have, say, Juan Foyth, Davinson Sanchez, and Ben Davis, for example. Ben Davies, and then you'd have, say, Sessegnon on one side, and I would love to have Hakimi on the right flank. That's never happening, but
I saw that link earlier this week as well, so who knows?
And again, it's an incubation period. I mean, basically, I think this is his second year on loan, and it's dangerous. I can understand why Poch is very reluctant to let players go on loan, because ultimately, you're not really going to want to develop someone. I'm a contractor at my job, and yes, they'll train me to do my job, but there's no motivation in like how we can develop it, and how are we going to do this for him. You know, because I'm not an asset to him. I can go at any time. And I think if you're a loan player, I think that's why Poch is reluctant to let players go on loan unless he has to, or unless these guys aren't good enough, because he's looking at players. He thinks, can they be, will they develop? Will they get the level of attention they need when they're not going to be there for more than a year? They're just plugging holes. You know, they're not really. And why would you do I mean, obviously pros are pros, but would you really look to develop someone just to lose them to someone else the next season? Nah, I would put that effort in. I mean, I don't put that much effort in my job now, let alone
I guess that explains Jack Clark's position, doesn't it?
I'll say again, sorry.
I guess that explains Jack Clark's position at Leeds, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think Jack Clark. I think that was different though, because basically they can only have so many loan players in the matchday squad, and they have 6. So instead of 5, they have 6. So he just falls by the wayside. If they hadn't signed that player, the 5th player they'd signed, the 6th player, that wouldn't be an issue. But I'm reckoning, do you know what? This will be a real test of character for him, and this see how he develops, because it's mentally you are really fighting, and it may be like, can he become the player? If he's under Poch, chances are his game time will be limited.
Yeah.
He's 18, 19. I mean, it takes a lot for a player to break into that squad. I mean, I think if memory serves, I don't know if I'm true, but Parrott was on that bench, wasn't he? Parrott was on the Spurs.
Red Star bench, yeah, he was, yeah. Well, not Red Star bench, but Red Star game.
I mean, obviously they held you back. Were you able to see him obviously in the warm-up, in the half-time when they go out and warm up? And what did you think just watching him? Because obviously he looks so good at scoring, obviously, and everyone looks great. They look fantastic. When he was actually doing like the rondos and everything else, what was your impression of him?
My impression, well, it might sound bad, but I just thought just a kid having to be where he is. Although he did have a serious head on him. I mean, he was doing the training and everything like that. But hard to say, really. Maybe it's kind of hard to say, really. He just kind of going through the motions, I guess, on the pitch. So he was doing what he needed to be done. But I guess if you kind of know that you're not going to play a part in the game at all, then you're just going to do what you need to do, aren't you? So I didn't really believe that he was actually going to play a part, which is kind of a shame because I think he's a good, he will be a good addition when he comes onto the pitch. He needs a lot longer than the 70 odd minutes that he got against Colchester. And I think he has deserved that chance. He's banging them in for the reserves, banging them in for the under-23s, banging them in for in the youth league. I think it would have been. I think at some point he needs 15 minutes on the pitch because
Well, he's going to get it. I mean, apparently he's made the Republic of Ireland squad. He's made the cut.
He's been with the Republic of Ireland for the last two squads.
No, usually the under-21s. I think this time they've seen enough of him to actually say, look, you will be training with senior players, the senior pros. And I can actually see him if we do beat Olympiacos, and if we do, like, so let's say not get a good couple of goals, like if we're up a couple of goals with like 5 minutes to go, we'll just bring him on just so he can feel the lane, just so like to feel like I'm in such a great stage. And I think I actually can imagine him playing against Bayern Munich because it's a nothing game. You might as well play a bunch of kids, like your absolute best and brightest kids. So whether that be Tanganga, whether that be Oliver Skip, whether that be Tripara, these are players you think, well, do you know what? I'll play these three. So it's a nothing game. It's a meaningless game anyway.
Well, you say that, but imagine this. I mean, Bayern Munich already through, aren't they? If they go to Belgrade and lose, and we beat Olympiacos, then we are back to within 2 points of them. So I know that it doesn't really matter if who wins the group and who finishes second anymore because the draw for the round of 16 will just throw up any tough team. But it will be a real flip in our a real feather in our cap, I should say, if we beat Bayern Munich at their home ground and then win the group by a point.
Yeah, but we already did that anyway. We did that in the Audi Cup. We did that anyway. No, I see what you're saying. But you know what? I just think, we'll take it one game at a time. But I really think if we can beat Olympiacos, cure that, because I think for a club like us, just to get past, because obviously, I think last year, 2 years ago, when we got past Juventus, got past Real Madrid, and to qualify for the group. And that was a first. We hadn't qualified from the group because we had a very easy group the year before. We didn't qualify because obviously no one saw Monaco doing what they did. Yeah. And I think for a club like us, to get to the quarterfinals is a real achievement, I think. And if we can get to the quarterfinals, then there's 8 teams. It's anyone's game. Yeah. You've only got to play 5 good games. If you get to the quarterfinals Champions League, you've only got to play 5 good games. That's it. Yeah. And in Spurs games, you've only got to, especially in semi-finals, you've only got to play 5 good minutes, and that's it. But that aside, no, I just got a funny feeling that I can see Troy Parrott and Skip and Tanganga like getting a shot, and I just think, especially if we beat Olympiacos, they beat Belgrade, they're going to play a bunch of their kids. Whoever, I think, I don't think it's Nico. I don't know who the interim head of coach is. He could just say, do you know what? I'm going to play my reserves just to see what I've got there. Pardon?
Isn't it Sarri?
No, it's something Flint or something. Not our man Flint, because that will be a bit strange. But no, it's some guy called Fleet or Flint or something like that. But I can see because obviously they've got focus on the German league. It's very tight in the Bundesliga right now.
Oh, yeah, Sarri, Napoli,
And I think if they can just get past Red Star Belgrade, get a result there, I think Red Star Belgrade are really going to bother. I think realistically, it will take a real miracle for them to, and it can happen. I'm not saying it can't, but I sincerely doubt they can really, even if they somehow beat Olympiacos and Bayern Munich, they would still, the head-to-head, a lot of things have to happen, kind of thing.
Antonio Conte is the manager of Inter Milan.
Pardon?
So Antonio Conte is the manager of Inter Milan.
No, not Conte. I'm just saying, but that's what I'm saying. I don't. Did I say Conte? I think I may have mentioned Conte.
Okay, who's Flint then?
No, Fleet or Flint. I think he's the interim coach.
Right. Bayern Munich. Sorry, I thought you meant Inter Milan. Yeah. Okay.
No, the interim coach. And I'm saying that he'll probably want to have a look at his players. Whether they give him a job or not, I think it gives him a good chance. If he gets past the Red Star Belgrade,
and Dieter Flick.
Dieter Flick, yeah. He can actually have a look at his players and say, look, who's given me something? What can I do? Yeah. Whether they give him the job or not, which is doubtful. Rarely that does that happen.
Yeah.
But it seems a bit harsh. If he wins the league and you don't give him that job, it's a bit mean. But I can really see them, but I said a lot has to happen, and right now, so Saturday, will you be at the Steve Perriman book signing, or will you be going to the pub first thing?
I had no idea. See, it's how when you got away trips like that, like Belgrade, you kind of get out of the loop. Where's the book signing? So the hot our viewers will know.
At the Spurs store, because I actually went there. I went there today. I had a day off. I took some friends there, and you can't actually buy an Ericsson fridge magnet. You know that you can't buy it. Yeah, but to be honest, I'd rather have a shag than a desk anyway. But no, it's just interesting. But like, I actually spent way too much. I bought a Spurs reindeer jumper because at work we have to wear Christmas jumpers.
Oh dear.
So I have to wear a reindeer jumper. I know. Don't you judge me, Al Hookie.
It's all right. I've already judged. It's all good. But yeah, that's really.
I don't know. For some reason, I can just see. Yeah, I mean, I was watching, and it was incredible. And when these guys were in there, they said, "Look, if we don't get out of there, we'll spend way too much money." And it's so easy. If you spend in there too long, like I bought like fridge magnets I didn't even need. One of the guys said something about a half and half scarf. Like, which is like, I have no idea what you just said. I walked away, and I saw these things. I'm like, oh damn! I wish you'd have done that. Now I've seen these fridge magnets. I have to get one.
Has to be done. Yep.
So I spent nearly £100 in there. Bloody hell! But and obviously Daniel Lee. Apparently they won't let you take, as you know, they won't let you take. Steve Perriman. For those of you who don't know, because football didn't exist before 1992. Clearly,
of course. Yep.
People just had Steve Perriman as just basically our interim boss. So Steve Perriman, Spurs skipper, probably one of our greatest skippers, won numerous trophies, listed numerous trophies, but there's something. I think Chris has actually met. Have you met Skip as well?
Oh, I have. Yeah, I think there's a picture of me on my Facebook page. It's pride of place in the centre of my photos there. It's good.
Because I actually met Skip, and I swear to God, that guy has a presence that is incredible. When he talks, you can hear a mouse fart in that place.
That's true.
A mouse wouldn't dare fart in that place. He holds court like no one's I've ever seen. So I might be going there, or I might be going. I'll definitely sign off on the coach, doing a bit of a pub crawl, because I actually went to the Brickies today, and you know what? They're actually cleaning it up.
Oh, really?
They're giving it a liquor plate. They're actually cleaning the floor. So basically, I think basically the old floor from Rudolph's.
They just transported it over.
They transported that over to the Brickies, and now Brickies have got rid of it. And then I don't know. Then I'm going there so much because my friends, when they saw the stadium, because they've never been to England before, this is their first trip to the UK, and when they saw the stadium, they were like, "Bloody hell! This is like seriously unreal." Kind of thing.
It is.
And so I'm going to be taking a bit of a pub crawl, probably, start off at, we're going to go out some grub, and after that grub, we're going to go, what's the word? Probably like have to go Percy Ingle. You can't say you've been to Spurs unless you've been to Percy Ingle. So go to Percy Ingle, and then after Percy Ingle, probably head up and just go to the coach, go to the Brickies. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, actually, go to the Brickies and the coach. And maybe stop in. Because I don't know, maybe stop in the Brewers. I don't know. But yeah, that's
all right, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, you're more than welcome to join, though, Gaffer. Do you know what I mean? I won't get complaints like, oh, no one told me about the Brighton pub crawl at all. and I don't know why that didn't come out as Brummy, but it always, like, my face is all Brummy. But Chris actually is from Nottingham, actually, for those of you who don't know, which is nothing like Birmingham. It's actually not even posh enough to be Birmingham, is it? I am never ever going go to Nottingham, am I?
I was going to say, I don't think you'll be able to set foot there if you call them Brummies.
No, I mean that's my plans, and like I said it's just been a really good day. I mean, I took some of the guys out today because I think it's like I said, it's like making connections. These guys, they've come to Tottenham they wanted to meet up with me anyway, and I don't know why they wanted to meet up with me, but apparently they did. We did Nana Susie's, we did the Greasy Spoon. I took them around Tottenham, took them to the marshes. They were able to see the little canals, and they actually got a good look at those. Obviously, we couldn't stop there because of traffic. But they got like kind of understanding why people would come to Tottenham in the first place. And it's so weird though. Back in the 1800s, people come to Tottenham for their health. You know?
Yeah, it was a retreat for the rich.
Yeah. Right now, it's a retreat for the rich. Everyone goes think, oh shit, we're in Tottenham. Let's get the fuck out of here, kind of thing. Well, actually, but I'm not saying anything bad about Sheffield United. I should do because one of the guys I train with, he's a big Wednesday fan. He hates Sheffield United. But I must admit, I'm actually looking forward to seeing them play because I want to see how this, what do they call it? The alternating
overlapping centre backs, you mean?
I really want to see how this thing works. I've heard about it. Yeah. I've never seen it. So I really want to, honestly, I'm actually more, I'm hoping we get the win, obviously, and everything else. But I'm actually more intrigued about how we deal with overlapping centre back thing. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, I'll be at the, hopefully, if you get a chance to meet Skip, take it. Skip is such a legend, and I would really recommend just meeting him. Yeah. But the problem is, there's going to be such a huge queue to get into the Spurs store anyway.
True.
But and I've already met Skip anyway, so, and I'm not much of a book reader anyway, so, but the funny thing is, guess who else I saw today? I saw Ronnie.
Ronnie?
Ronnie from Ronnie Events.
Oh, Ronnie Kid.
Yeah. And Ronnie Events. He's actually got a name.
That's insane, Ronnie.
That's the name of this. That's the name of this episode. Ronnie Events.
It's all done.
But I saw him and because I think there's a lot of people. Obviously, we've got to be careful now because one of the supplement board members. She's also. Should we mention her nights?
Got it.
I don't know. I don't know her. You do.
Oh, Chen actually got a name for it, but it's Lorraine Bergstrom, and she does her own Legends Nights as well. And she's actually
at the Coaching Horses as well. Apparently, Paul Stewart is going to be doing emceeing. So there's a lot of people doing this. I mean, there's a lot of interest in this, but so who knows? It could be quite tasty. But I'm hoping. But I'm just. Should we finish this off? Let's just go teams. So
one second. Before you finish it off, I just thought I'd plug Lorraine's Legend Nights, which is a presents, which is called Presents, a dinner with Glenn Hoddle and Chris Waddle and Graham Roberts. That's on the 21st of May, and it's going to be held in Inglebourne Links Golf and Country Club, which is in Wellington, which is in Essex. Bay. So 21st of May that will be next year. So. You can.
I wonder if they'll ask if Hoddle and Waddle was in Diamond Lights.
Don't tempt them.
Oh! No, you know what? I must admit that is going to be pretty tasty, actually.
It'll be a good night.
It'll be a good night. And so, seeing as we're plugging our mates anyway, my buddy Tom Mitch, he works with Mickey Hazard on, I think it's Mickey Hazard Events, or whatever it's called. And they're doing Glenn Hoddle night as well. So if you're one of those people that was able to see Glenn, I got to shake his hand. And Glenn wasn't really a player. I mean, someone said to me like Teddy Sheringham. I'd probably more seen him meet Teddy Sheringham than Glenn Hoddle because that's a player that I can actually remember seeing a lot more than say. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things happening. So it's so strange, how things are going at the club and just. I mean, obviously, you had two guys that flew away from Arizona. Was it on Thursday morning, and they've got to experience a bit of Tottenham, and they're flying out on Monday, so they don't have a lot of time over here. And the fact they're willing to spend 2 days in Tottenham, yeah. And who knows? We're doing a pub crawl. We might be going to a curry house afterwards. So yeah, it should be a lit night. If you want to come along, hopefully Chris may get this on Spotify pretty soon, and yeah, apparently I am the guy to speak to for Tottenham stores, and I am not the guy that stole material from Pete Hain.
No one's saying a word.
I am not that guy at all, because
No one's saying a word.
it isn't Pete's material. It's some other geezer from the Annie. it is material I've nicked. yeah, check it out. So thank you for Chris for being on this episode of
What's your team then?
Ronnie. And yeah, as always. Oh yeah, by the way, before we finish off, so before Chris rudely interrupted me, and I rudely interrupted him back, I'm gonna go with Gaza and goal. I'm actually, I don't know, I want to play a back three, but we haven't really got the fullbacks to play a back three really, not just yet. If we had like the proper flying fullbacks, we could really play a proper solid back three. But I'm gonna go Gaza and goal. Dyer, probably Toby and Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
Toby and Sanchez in centre half. I think it's interesting. I think even I don't know. Dyer didn't really put a foot wrong actually, so it's hard to take him out. But I'm actually thinking that they're gonna. I think Ndombele is not going to last 90 minutes. I'd start with Ndombele, but I only think he's going to be knackered after 45 minutes. I honestly see that happening. And I can see that happening, and I can see us then deciding, you know what, let's bring on Dyer and Winks, and then let's give them. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. But I'm going to go with Toby and Sanchez, Davies and either Sergio or Juan Foyth. And I think he'll play the same midfield and the same attack, but he'll look to maybe try and give minutes to Ryan Sessegnon and Eric Dyer, because those are two of his those are two players he really, really likes. They're two of his favourites. And I think Dele Alli's going to get a brace. I think it'll be 2-0 to us. I think Dele Alli's going to make Gareth Southgate look like a tit. Don't.
I say nothing. I just listen.
One amount of maths, unfortunately, that is your position, really, just listening. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 to us. What about you, Skip? How would you line up?
Well, I guess I'll pretty much keep the same team almost. Obviously, Gaza in goal, I think has been brilliant. And I know it's been enforced, but he has done exceptionally well in that position so far. He made saves where he needs to. He's very vocal. I like him. Centre back, it's hard to say. Ideally, I'd probably say, why to go for it? I'd say Dyer and Sanchez in the middle, because Dyer looks very calming, very relaxed, and very commanding as well. He helps Sanchez kind of stay. Well, just kind of stay awake really throughout the 90 minutes against the Red Star. And then, I'll go with Davis on the left. And I'd say Foyth on the right. Give him that start. I think he's earned it. And then
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
And then pivot to Sissoko and Ndombele. Because I think, unfortunately, he's in that position now. You've got to start being able to play consecutive matches with Spurs. And I think this is the game where you give him that and say, look, just go out, do your thing. Do you know what? Even if you get knackered by 40 minutes, we'll take you off if we need to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But give it all you can.
He should be building his fitness up anyway, so it should last more than the 70 minutes he lasted against Red Star. So we'll just give him that then. And then in the three, I'd say, by the way, it's 4-2-3-1. And then I'd have, let's see, Lo Celso. Probably start with Ali, and then if Lamela is fit, I'll have him there as well. Because I just
Lamela's rolled out. Ruled out as a Tongan.
Oh, right, I see. Oh, okay. In that case, so Lo Celso, and then Ali, and then I'll probably have Lucas. Just someone who can hassle and harry, and then Kane as a focal point.
Okay, interesting. You would have played Sonny then?
I'd say bring Sonny on a little bit later, I think. Not quite sure why. I just have a feeling that Sonny will have a good last 25 minutes against Everton.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I would just bring on Lucas as an impact star person myself. But yeah. Anyway, that's enough ranting for me. I thank Chris for being on this, and they can find Chris at Crisandro, CRSANDRO_.
That's me.
Where he goes by the same like man like Chris.
Mm-hmm.
They can not find my tours at the Royal Charbon. And yeah. And hopefully, like I said, I think we'll generally be, I'll be at the Brickies, the Annie, and the coach, Percy Ingle, obviously, and go from there.
Cool stuff. And people will be able to find me at the Coach and Horses tomorrow. And
with Captain Morgan and Pineapple, not Malibu and Pineapple.
Forget Malibu, man. That's way too commercial. Captain Morgan's on right there. Sorry, Debs.
Oh, let's not get started that. Hopefully Deb's got her muffins out. Ready.
Of course.
No.
Of course. I say nothing. I just say, of course.
Of course. Anyway, that comes in. So, as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. You all take care now.